So you come bearing some pretty grim news, particularly about climate change. Describe why you think this is sort of the last chance we have.
We've known for decades about climate change, despite propaganda to the contrary. The Earth has been getting warmer, and the climate is becoming more unstable. 2014 was the hottest year on instrument record, and we felt it not only in high temperatures around the world, but in floods, in droughts, in extreme storms, and there's a lot more to come. And the world set this year as the time to change course, because negotiations failed. They finally said 2015, this is it. And arithmetically, if we don't do it this year, we're not going to be able to stay safe in terms of the climate system. It's going to run out of control.
Step back. In your book, you describe just the nature of the problem historically. So in 1750, you point out there were about 800 million people on the planet. There are now over 7 billion. And you say, once we get to 8, the next 20 or 30 years are very dangerous.
The point is, not only has the world population increased roughly 10 times, but what each person does on average in terms of the resources that are used has also increased roughly tenfold. So the world economy arithmetically has grown 100-fold, roughly speaking, as macroeconomists would measure it. But what it really means is that while the planet hasn't increased in size at all, what we're doing to the planet has just exploded. The pressures on the physical Earth have reached thresholds that are very dangerous, unprecedented, and therefore not understood, not part of our political, social, cultural, historical context. So new that we're having a very hard time getting our hands around issues like climate change or the massive destruction of biodiversity, the massive amounts of pollution that are being caused. These are new phenomena.
What about the argument that technology gets us out of this problem? A lot of people feel, look, between greater efficiency, recycling, desalination, the technology can solve these problems, and you will be able to have fresh water endlessly.
There's some truth, and in fact I think it's a core truth, that technology can solve these problems, or at least can help us solve these problems. But technology always cuts two ways. Just take the technological advances in energy. Solar panels, which don't produce carbon dioxide emissions, therefore are clean energy, have become much less expensive, and they're spreading around the world. But also the fossil fuel industry, coal, oil, and gas, has become much more productive as well because of modern technology. How to find deep reserves, how to drill, hydrofracking, horizontal drilling. All of a sudden we can produce a lot more. We can have ultra deep sea drilling, Arctic drilling, floating liquefied natural gas plants, the biggest ships in history to take up methane from the seabed, natural gas, liquefy it on a floating vessel that can withstand a typhoon, and then ship it off for burning someplace for electricity. So technology can accelerate the disaster, or it can solve it.
And what is the path to sustainable development? Because when you describe the problem, and you talk about the world economy doubling in a generation, the population getting much larger, even though it will then taper off, it feels like it's impossible. When I think about something like China and India developing and building a coal-fired power plant every week, I wonder, does it really make that much difference if I use a little more solar energy?
No, if China and India continue to completely depend on coal as they are, if it's true that the major parts of the world don't participate, then no, it doesn't matter what you and I do. And that's why we need a global understanding and a global agreement. And that you know very well, better than anybody, how tough that is to get all parts of the world seeing eye to eye that we need to take a different course, not just the one that the market or that the short-term profits would lead us towards, but the one that we need to take for safety.
Are you at the end of the day hopeful?
This year is key. at least the world leaders, I'm seeing them all over the world week by week, they know that this is the year that either it gets done or we have missed our generation's opportunity.
Jeff Sachs, good to have you on.
Well, thanks so much.